Steve Harvey went silent when this contestant said she hasn't eaten in 2 days. In that pivotal moment, the lively atmosphere of the game show came crashing to a halt. What began as a quest for fun and prizes transformed into a powerful revelation of hardship and hunger. As the audience cheered and the lights flashed, one courageous contestant took the stage and dared to share her painful truth. Join us on this emotional journey, exploring resilience and hope in the face of adversity. This is a story that will change the way you see the world. In the heart of a bustling game show, the air crackles with anticipation and excitement. Bright lights flash and the lively theme music blares, creating an electric atmosphere that draws in the audience. Contestants stand shoulder to shoulder, their faces lit up with a mix of excitement and nervous energy. Among them is Maria, a spirited young woman with determination in her eyes and hope in her heart. Today, she's not just here to play a game. She's fighting for her family, her future, a chance to escape the shadows of poverty that loom over her life like a dark cloud. As the host, Steve Harvey, takes center stage, he beams at the contestants and the audience alike, his charisma radiating throughout the studio. He calls out questions with enthusiasm, and the crowd erupts in cheers, amplifying the thrill of the moment. This is it, Maria thinks, her heart racing with each buzzer that sounds and each question that is posed. The atmosphere is charged with competition, and she feels every fiber of her being focused on the game ahead. Maria buzzes in quickly, her mind a whirlwind of thoughts and strategies. Each answer she provides is a step closer to securing a victory that could change everything for her and her family. The thrill of the competition pulses through her veins as she recalls facts and trivia, her confidence building with each correct response. Yet, with every passing moment, the gnawing hunger in her stomach grows more insistent, a stark reminder of the struggles she faces outside the bright studio lights. She hasn't eaten in 2 days, and the memory of her last meal, a meager sandwich shared with her younger siblings, haunts her thoughts. With her heart pounding, Maria pushes the hunger aside, focusing instead on the bright lights and the roar of the crowd. She knows that this is her chance to make a difference, to bring home a prize that could help her family afford groceries, rent, and perhaps even some new shoes for her little brother. The stakes couldn't be higher, and she won't let anything distract her from her goal. The camera zooms in on Maria, capturing her enthusiasm and nervous energy as she stands at the ready. Who was the first woman to fly solo across the Atlantic? Steve quizzes, his voice booming over the cheers of the audience. Without hesitation, Maria buzzes in, her mind racing back to history class. Amelia Earhart, she exclaims, and the crowd erupts in applause as Steve confirms her answer. The rush of excitement is intoxicating, and for a brief moment, the world feels perfect. She's winning, she's shining, and she feels alive. But as the game progresses, Maria can't shake the fatigue that's creeping in. She glances at the clock, her stomach growling softly, reminding her of the meal she skipped that morning to save her last few dollars for the bus fare. The hunger gnaws at her focus, but she refuses to let it show. She's here to win, to bring home a prize that could change everything for her family. She silently vows to herself that she won't let her circumstances dictate her destiny. As the questions become more challenging, the tension in the air thickens. Maria's competitors are fierce, each one as eager and desperate as she is. The questions come faster, and what was once a fun distraction transforms into a high-pressure battle for survival. She knows that every correct answer inches her closer to the life-changing prize money. But the hunger is relentless, a constant reminder of the reality waiting for her outside those studio doors. With each passing round, the stakes rise higher, and Maria can feel the weight of her family's hopes resting heavily on her shoulders. The audience's cheers blend into a distant roar as she concentrates, her eyes narrowing in focus. The pressure is mounting, and the game feels like a whirlwind, a blur of lights, sounds, and emotions that threaten to overwhelm her. Yet, amid the chaos, she catches glimpses of her family's faces in her mind, their smiles giving her strength. As the final round approaches, Maria's heart pounds in her chest, each beat echoing her determination. She can hear the audience's excitement building, their energy feeding into her resolve. The crowd roars, and for a moment, she loses herself in the exhilaration. But in the back of her mind, a nagging thought lingers. What if she can't keep going? What if she runs out of steam before the finish line? What if this moment, so close to her grasp, slips away? Just when it seems like she might have a chance at victory, the game takes an unexpected turn, one that will change everything. The question posed is unlike any she has faced before, something that could either propel her to triumph or lead to devastating defeat. The atmosphere in the studio is electric as the final round looms closer. Maria stands at the ready, her heart pounding in her chest like a drum. The lights dim slightly, creating a spotlight that feels like it's just for her. The tension is palpable, and she can sense the collective breath of the audience as they lean forward, eager to see how the game will unfold. Steve Harvey, with his trademark smile, looks at the contestants with a glint of mischief in his eyes. All right, folks, this is it. The final question. This is where everything changes. His voice booms through the studio, igniting a wave of excitement among the audience. Maria swallows hard, her mouth suddenly dry as she prepares for whatever challenge he might throw her way. As the question is revealed on the big screen, her heart sinks for a moment. What is the capital of Mongolia? It seems simple enough, yet the pressure of the moment makes her second-guess herself. The previous questions had been more about pop culture and history, topics she had prepared for in her mind. But geography? Her mind races, searching for the answer amid a fog of anxiety. She can feel the weight of the moment pressing down on her. Maria closes her eyes for a brief second, taking a deep breath to steady herself. Memories of her childhood flicker through her mind. Late-night study sessions with her siblings, huddled around a single flashlight as they pored over their textbooks. She remembers how they would quiz each other, how they would laugh and argue over the answers, and how much she had loved those moments. They had been her rock in difficult times, and now she can almost hear their voices cheering her on, urging her to dig deep. With newfound determination, she opens her eyes and focuses on Steve, who is watching her intently, a hint of encouragement in his gaze. The seconds feel like hours as the clock ticks down. She can see the other contestants anxiously shifting in their positions, their eyes glued to her. "Come on, Maria," she whispers to herself, shaking off the doubt. "You can do this." Then it hits her. "Ulaanbaatar," she shouts, the name bursting from her lips with a mix of relief and triumph. The audience gasps, and for a moment, everything feels still. Maria holds her breath as Steve raises an eyebrow, his expression shifting from surprise to delight. "Is that your final answer?" he asks, and she nods vigorously, her heart racing. The seconds stretch into what feels like an eternity as Steve pauses, letting the tension build. Finally, he breaks into a wide grin. "You've got it. Ulaanbaatar is correct." The studio erupts into cheers and applause, and Maria feels a rush of exhilaration wash over her. She can't believe it. She did it. The victory is sweet, a balm for her anxiety and fears. But the celebration is short-lived. As the cheers die down, Steve turns serious for a moment. "Now, Maria," he says, leaning closer, his voice lowering. "You've played extraordinarily well. But before we wrap things up, I want to ask you something personal." The audience quiets, the excitement shifting to curiosity. Mariah feels a lump form in her throat. What could he possibly want to know? "What's your story? What brings you here today?" His question hangs in the air, and she realizes that this moment could be pivotal, not just for her, but for everyone watching. Maria takes a deep breath, her heart racing not from the competition, but from the vulnerability of sharing her truth. "I'm here for my family," she begins, her voice steady despite the emotional weight of her words. "We've faced a lot of struggles. I've had to sacrifice a lot to help take care of my siblings. My parents work long hours, and sometimes there just isn't enough food on the table. I came here hoping to win so I can provide for them, to give them a better life." The audience listens intently, empathy washing over the crowd. Maria can see heads nodding in understanding, and she feels a swell of support enveloping her. "I want to show them that it's possible to rise above the challenges we face," she continues, her voice gaining strength. "I want to be a role model for my little brother and sister, to show them that they can achieve their dreams no matter how hard life gets." Steve nods, visibly moved. "That's powerful, Maria. Your story is inspiring, and I think you're going to touch a lot of hearts today." He turns to the audience, who erupt into applause once more. Maria feels tears prick at her eyes, but she fights them back. This is her moment. She won't let anything steal her joy. As the applause fades, Steve announces the prize. "Congratulations, Maria. You've not only won the game, but you're also taking home $50,000. The crowd goes wild, and Maria can hardly process the magnitude of what this means. Her dreams are suddenly within reach. As she stands there, surrounded by the cheers and the bright lights, she thinks of her family's future. The weight of the world feels lighter on her shoulders, and for the first time in a long time, she allows herself to dream. Dream of a life where food on the table is a given, where her siblings can focus on their studies without the burden of poverty hanging over them. But just as the celebration begins, a familiar hunger gnaws at her, reminding her of the reality that awaits outside these dazzling studio doors. Though she has won, she knows that the journey is far from over. The studio lights dimmed, and the applause began to fade. But the exhilaration that surged through Maria was far from over. She felt like she was floating, suspended in a moment where time seemed to stand still. The reality of her win began to sink in, and with it came a rush of emotions: relief, joy, and an overwhelming sense of responsibility. She had not only won a game show, she had secured her family's future. As she stepped down from the stage, the weight of the $50,000 prize felt both exhilarating and heavy. Maria clutched the oversized check tightly, her fingers trembling with disbelief. It was more than just a piece of cardboard. It represented hope, dreams, and a new beginning. Everywhere she looked, people were celebrating. But her mind was racing with thoughts of her family. What would they say? How would they react? "Maria," a voice called, breaking through her thoughts. It was Steve, rushing toward her with a warm smile. "That was incredible. You really captivated the audience with your story. I think you'll inspire so many people out there." His sincerity resonated with her, making her heart swell with gratitude. "Thank you, Steve," she replied, her voice filled with emotion. I just hope I can make a difference for my family." "You already have," he assured her. "You showed everyone that determination can lead to success. Now go celebrate with your loved ones." As she stepped away from the stage, Maria felt a mix of excitement and trepidation. The reality outside the studio awaited her, and it was a stark contrast to the vibrant energy of the game show. The bustling streets felt chaotic as she made her way home. The noise and activity a reminder of her everyday struggles. When she finally arrived at her small apartment, the door swung open to reveal her siblings, their faces lighting up with joy upon seeing her. "Maria, you did it!" Her younger sister Lily squealed, running to hug her tightly. "You were amazing. I knew you could do it." Her brother Alex chimed in, beaming with pride. Maria knelt down to embrace them both, tears of happiness threatening to spill over. In that moment, everything, the long nights studying, the sacrifices, the hunger, felt worth it. "Guess what?" Maria announced, holding up the check. The siblings gasped, their eyes wide with disbelief. "I won 50,000. Lily's eyes sparkled with excitement. "What does that mean for us?" "It means we can finally buy food without worrying," Maria replied, her voice thick with emotion. "It means we can pay the rent and maybe even get you both some new clothes for school." Alex jumped up and down, his excitement infectious. "This is the best day ever." As the three of them celebrated, Maria felt a profound sense of relief wash over her. She had always been the caretaker, the one who held everything together, and now, for the first time, she could see a path forward. They gathered around the small table in their cramped kitchen, and Maria promised to take them out for a special dinner. Later that evening, as they sat around the table enjoying their feast, pizza a rare treat, Maria watched her siblings laugh and chat animatedly. It was a sight she had longed for, a glimpse of joy that had been overshadowed by their struggles for far too long. In that moment, she realized that her win was not just about the money. It was about giving her family a chance to dream again. As the night wore on, however, a shadow of doubt crept into her mind. The euphoria of victory was slowly replaced by a nagging worry. What if this money wasn't enough? What if unforeseen expenses arose? The fear of slipping back into hardship loomed over her, a reminder of the fragility of their situation. Maria shook her head, trying to push the thoughts away. She had to stay positive, to focus on the present. "We're going to take this one step at a time," she told herself. "I'll make a plan." The following days were filled with a whirlwind of activity. Maria met with financial advisors and learned about budgeting, saving, and investing. She was determined to make the most of her newfound wealth, to ensure that it would not only sustain them, but also provide opportunities for her siblings to thrive. She enrolled Alex and Lily in after-school programs, where they could learn new skills and explore their interests. Maria watched with pride as they flourished, their laughter filling the apartment as they brought home art projects and stories of new friends. But amid the excitement, Maria couldn't shake the feeling that she was being watched. It started as a fleeting sensation, a glance in the crowd, a shadow lurking at the edge of her vision. She brushed it off as paranoia, the product of stress and anxiety. But as days turned into weeks, the feeling intensified. One evening, as she returned home from a meeting with a local charity, she noticed a figure leaning against the wall outside her building. Her heart raced as she quickened her pace, but the figure straightened up and stepped into the light. It was a man she didn't recognize. "Maria," he said, his voice smooth yet unsettling. "I've been looking for you." Her instincts kicked in, and she took a step back, ready to defend herself, her mind racing with possibilities. Who was this man? And what did he want? Maria's heart raced as she faced the stranger in the dim light outside her building. The man's expression was unreadable, but something about him set off alarms in her mind. He was tall, with a sharp jawline and piercing blue eyes that seemed to assess her every move. She instinctively took a step back, scanning her surroundings for an escape route. But the street was quiet, and the shadows felt ominous. "Who are you?" she demanded, trying to keep her voice steady despite the fear bubbling within her. "What do you want?" The man held up his hands in a gesture of calm. "I'm not here to hurt you, Maria. My name is Daniel. I just want to talk." "Talk about what?" she replied, her eyes narrowing. "You have no right to approach me like this." "I know it seems strange," he said, his tone softening. "But please, just hear me out. I know about your situation, your family, the game show, the money you won." Maria's heart sank. How could he possibly know all this? The game show had been a public spectacle, but this felt different, invasive. "I don't think there's anything to discuss," she said firmly, ready to turn and run if necessary. "Wait," he called after her, his voice laced with urgency. "I can help you. You have no idea the kind of attention your win has attracted. Not all of it is good." "What do you mean?" She shot back, her curiosity piqued despite her better judgment. "Who are you to help me?" "Because I know what it's like to be vulnerable," he admitted, his expression softening. "I grew up in a rough neighborhood, just like you. My family struggled, and I've dedicated my life to helping others avoid the mistakes I made. I want to protect you and your family." Maria hesitated. There was something genuine in his voice, a sincerity that made her pause. "How do you know about my family?" "I've been following your story since the game show," he confessed, his expression grave. "I was moved by your determination, and I wanted to see how you were doing. But now I can see that you're in potential danger. There are people who might come after you for that money." A chill ran down Maria's spine. The thought of danger lurking in the shadows was terrifying. But she couldn't ignore the sense of urgency in Daniel's voice. "What do you suggest I do?" she asked, her voice trembling slightly. "Let me help you set up some security measures. We can create a plan to protect your family and ensure that your winnings don't attract unwanted attention," he proposed. "I can also connect you with resources that can help you manage your finances wisely." Maria weighed her options. The idea of having someone to guide her through this unfamiliar territory was appealing. But was it worth the risk of trusting a stranger? "I need time to think about it," she replied finally, her resolve strengthening. "Of course. Just promise me you'll be careful," he said, his gaze intense. "Keep your winnings private for now, and don't share your plans with anyone you don't trust completely." With that, he turned and walked away, leaving Maria standing in the darkness, her mind swirling with questions. She felt unsettled, yet strangely compelled to consider his offer. As she entered her apartment, she locked the door and leaned against it, taking a deep breath. "Who was that guy?" Lily asked, peeking out from the kitchen where she had been helping Alex with his homework. "Just someone who wanted to talk," Maria replied, forcing a smile. "Nothing to worry about." But the unease lingered in her gut, a reminder that her life had changed in ways she hadn't fully grasped yet. As the days passed, Maria tried to focus on her siblings, on the joy of their newfound opportunities. But the shadow of Daniel's warning haunted her. She began to notice little things. A car parked outside their building that seemed to appear more often than not. The feeling of being watched when she went grocery shopping, the hushed whispers at the community center where she had enrolled her siblings. Each day, she became more cautious, more aware of her surroundings. The excitement of her win began to feel like a double-edged sword. She wanted to provide for her family and build a better life. But at what cost? The thought of danger loomed over her like a dark cloud, threatening to overshadow their happiness. One evening, as they sat down for dinner, Maria decided it was time to tell her siblings about the situation. They deserved to know the truth. "Hey guys," she began, her heart racing. "I want to talk to you about something important." Lily and Alex looked up, their expressions curious yet attentive. "I've been approached by someone who knows about our win," Maria continued, her voice steady. "He warned me that there are people out there who might try to take advantage of us. So, we need to be careful." Alex frowned, his youthful innocence shining through. "What do you mean? Are we in danger?" "I don't think so. But we need to be smart," Maria replied, trying to reassure him. "We can't share details about our money or our plans with anyone we don't trust completely. And I want you both to be aware of your surroundings, too." Lily nodded, her brow furrowing in concern. "What if they come after us?" "That's why I'm considering some extra security measures," Maria said, her voice firm. "We'll take this one step at a time, together. We'll be okay as long as we stick together." The three of them spent the rest of the evening discussing their options, brainstorming ways to protect themselves without losing sight of their dreams. They decided to keep their newfound wealth a secret from friends and acquaintances, and Maria resolved to reach out to Daniel the next day. As she lay in bed that night, her mind raced with thoughts of the future. Would she be able to safeguard her family? Could she really trust Daniel? The shadows of doubt crept in, but she pushed them away, reminding herself of the strength she had shown throughout her life. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, but she was ready to face them head-on, armed with determination and love for her family. The morning sun streamed through the thin curtains of Maria's apartment, casting warm golden rays across the small living room where her siblings were already awake and animated. Lily was sprawled on the floor, surrounded by colorful art supplies, while Alex was glued to the television, engrossed in a cartoon. The sound of laughter and excitement filled the air, a stark contrast to the swirling thoughts in Maria's mind. After the unsettling encounter with Daniel, Maria had barely slept. The weight of her responsibilities felt heavier than ever. She knew she had to reach out to him, to explore the possibilities of safeguarding her family, but a part of her hesitated. Trusting a stranger in a world that had already proven to be so unpredictable was not an easy decision. But the potential danger was real, and she couldn't ignore it. As she sipped her coffee, Maria watched her siblings. Their innocence and joy reminded her of why she had to make the right choice. They were counting on her, and she couldn't let them down. With a deep breath, she resolved to call Daniel. She needed to know what he could offer and whether she could truly trust him. After breakfast, Maria found a quiet moment when her siblings were distracted. She pulled out her phone and dialed the number Daniel had given her. The phone rang, each tone echoing her growing anxiety. Would he answer? What would she say? Just as she was about to hang up, he picked up. "Maria, I'm glad you called," Daniel said, his voice calm and reassuring. "Have you thought about what we discussed?" "Yes," she replied, her heart racing. I'm interested in what you can do to help us, but I have a lot of questions." "Of course. Why don't we meet in person?" he suggested. "I can explain everything in detail and outline a plan that will keep your family safe." We can meet at a cafe near your place, if that works for you. Maria agreed, feeling a mix of apprehension and relief. She chose a small cafe just a few blocks away, one she frequented often. It was familiar, a place that felt safe, a stark contrast to the uncertainty of the situation she was about to step into. When the time came, Maria walked to the cafe, her heart pounding with each step. As she entered, the comforting aroma of coffee and pastries enveloped her, momentarily easing her tension. She spotted Daniel sitting at a corner table, his expression serious but inviting. "Thank you for coming," he said as she approached. "I know this is a lot to take in." Maria nodded, taking a seat across from him. "I want to understand how you plan to help. I'm worried about my family's safety, especially after what you told me." Daniel leaned forward, his eyes focused. "First, let me assure you that you're not alone in this. Many people who come into sudden wealth face similar challenges. There are individuals who see an opportunity, and they might not have your best interests at heart." "What do you mean?" she asked, her curiosity piqued. "Think about it," he continued. "You went from being relatively unknown to suddenly having a significant amount of money. That kind of attention can attract people looking to exploit your situation. Whether they're scammers, predatory loan sharks, or even people who might want to take advantage of your family directly." Maria felt a chill at his words. "What do you suggest we do?" "First, we need to establish a plan for your family's safety," he explained. "This includes setting up security measures at your home and being mindful of your routines. I can connect you with a local security expert who specializes in protecting families in your situation." Maria listened intently, weighing the options. "And what about the money? I want to make sure it lasts and that we use it wisely." "Absolutely," he said, nodding. "I can introduce you to a financial advisor who can help you manage your funds effectively. They'll guide you on budgeting, saving, and investing so that you can provide for your family long term. You don't just want to survive, you want to thrive." Maria's mind raced as she took in his suggestions. "This sounds good, but how do I know I can trust you?" Daniel's expression softened. "I understand your hesitation. Trust is earned, and I'm here to earn yours. My organization has a reputation for helping families like yours, and I can provide references from people I've worked with in the past. I want to make sure you feel comfortable every step of the way." Maria took a deep breath, the weight of the decision pressing down on her. Could she really trust him? The fear of making the wrong choice gnawed at her. But the thought of her family's well-being pushed her forward. "Okay," she replied, her voice firm. "Let's do this." "Great," he said, a smile breaking across his face. "We'll start by assessing your home security and then move on to the financial planning. I'll set up meetings with the right people, and we'll take this one step at a time." As they discussed the details, Maria felt a sense of empowerment growing within her. It was a small step, but it was a step towards protecting her family and ensuring a brighter future. Daniel's presence was reassuring, and for the first time since her win, she felt a glimmer of hope amidst the uncertainty. After their meeting, Maria returned home with a newfound determination. She shared the news with her siblings, explaining the steps they were going to take to ensure their safety and well-being. Alex and Lily listened intently, their eyes wide with a mix of excitement and apprehension. "Does this mean we'll be safe?" Alex asked, his voice small. "Yes," Maria reassured him, kneeling down to meet his gaze. "We're going to be smart about this, and we'll make sure nothing bad happens to us. We're a team, and we'll face whatever comes our way together." Lily beamed at her, her youthful optimism shining through. I can't wait to see what's next for us. That night, as Maria lay in bed, she reflected on the day's events. There was still uncertainty ahead, but she felt a renewed sense of purpose. The shadows of doubt that had loomed over her were beginning to lift. She was taking control of her circumstances, and that was a powerful feeling. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, but she was ready to face them head-on, armed with determination, love for her family, and the support of someone who understood the complexities of her situation. As sleep finally overtook her, Maria closed her eyes with the hope that they could build a secure future together, one step at a time.